Hello everyone, it's been a while since we've casted the Dota 2 Canada Cup, but it certainly hasn't been a while since we casted all of those games for the Shanghai Major. That was a crazy qualifier. We did get to see both Team Archon and Void Boys, which is going to be our first match to start off today in those group stages, so that's going to be exciting, seeing how both these teams have adapted. But following this game, we're also going to see a game with the Power of Friendship. That's going to be Archon versus Power of Friendship. And then to conclude the night, we're going to have Archon versus... there's going to be Void Boys versus Power of Friendship. And then the final game is going to be Archon versus Power of Friendship. And the whole purpose of this is because we still need to figure out
reserve time.
Who's going to advance out of Group C, because we have a three-way tie between these three teams. And this is a tiebreaker to determine which of these two is going to advance into the next round. So we're going to have three games that'll hopefully settle it. We may end up with everyone tied at one game apiece, which then involves it getting down to a tie break in terms of time, and I'm not 100% sure how that works. We've already had one ruling like that so far in the tournament, but hopefully we won't get one of those. But a little bit of backstory. When these two teams played each other back on December 18th in the Dota 2 Canada Cup, Archon took the game against Void Boys, but that's ancient history. We've got more recent results, and that was, of course, the Shanghai Major. They played each other. They were both in Group A, and of course we know that Team Archon not only did incredibly well in the group stage, but they went on to get the invite to go to Shanghai Major to represent the Americas region. And Void Boys, although they were in that same group, they unfortunately did not advance. They finished 4th in Group A, but Archon only lost 2 games the entire group stage, and one of those games was to Void Boys, because these two teams split the series, the 2-game series, 1-1. So Void Boys has got that going for them. And if you go back and look at those teams playing against each other, you see a lot of the same stuff in those 2 games. It was very early on in the Shanghai Major. In fact, it was the first matches. So the meta hadn't completely shifted yet. We saw a big difference between the start of the Shanghai Majors and the end of the Shanghai Major, or at least the qualifiers. And in those games, we saw Void Boys opening up both games with banning the Enchantress and the Spirit Breaker. This time, it's actually not them banning the Enchantress, it's Team Archon banning the Enchantress. But Enchantress was a hero that did quite well in the qualifier, so no surprise that hero's ban priority has been elevated on teams that aren't just Void Boys. Beyond that, we're not seeing the Spirit Breaker getting banned out. He didn't do too hot. But we are seeing Tusk, Undying, and Lone Druid getting banned out, which are heroes that did very well. And surprisingly enough, both games that Void Boys played against Team Archon, they ran the Lone Druid. They ran it in the offlane, and they're going to ban it in their first 2 bans. So that's very, very interesting. Before we get into further into the picks and into the draft, I should introduce myself. I'm Niz. Welcome to NizCast. If you're new here, obviously welcome. But you might be here. Maybe you tuned in during the qualifiers or whatever. But this is kind of one of my regular gigs, I guess. We've been casting all of the Dota 2 Canada Cup, and we're going to keep casting it. We've got a whole boatload of games coming up for the Dota 2 Canada Cup. Once this tiebreaker is finished, then we're going to move into the playoffs, which just kind of ups the ante for these teams. So looking forward to that. But yeah, let's go on with the picks, because we already covered those first 4 bans, so let's go on with the picks. We have Gyrocopter and Oracle getting picked up by Archon. This is one of the openings they actually used against Void Boys in Game 2, the game that they actually won against Void Boys. Whereas Void Boys, they opened up with Zeus and Faceless Void, and I have no idea this opening, but they're going to go with it. As hi Ali in chat. Chiranon Pandago of Team Archon, or at least he's standing in for Team Archon. But yeah, we've got the Zeus and Faceless Void opening for the Void Boys, so they're picking Void on the Void Boys. No surprise there. But we're expecting that Faceless Void to be run in the offlane, as that was primarily how he was running the qualifiers. But we'll look and see exactly how Void Boys choose to use that. I expect Faceless Void offlane, maybe Zeus mid. It could always be a support Zeus or even a core Vengeful Spirit, but we'll have to get a little bit further into the draft before we can make any kind of judgment calls on that. As for our second round of bans, we had Death Prophet and Spectre getting banned out by Team Archon. Death Prophet was used quite a lot in the qualifiers, and we saw its strength grow as the tournament went on. And it was one of the highest win rates in, I think, all regions except Europe, or maybe I'm getting that completely opposite. Maybe it was completely dominant in Europe. I don't exactly remember that stat right now off the top of my head, but Death Prophet did very, very well in the qualifiers. Probably one of the more surprising heroes of the qualifiers. As for Void Boys bans, they banned out the Slardar and the Broodmama. So none of the spider shenanigans. Then our next set of picks, we had the Phoenix and the Templar Assassin getting picked up by Team Archon and the Vengeful Spirit. And now we're going to see the safe lane carry, or maybe a mid, Medusa for Void Boys. And now we've got the final two bans coming in as Team Archon. They've banned out the Spirit Breaker. Finally, it's getting removed from the pool.
10 seconds
Void Boys love charging around the map on that hero. But now we just wait for Void Boys, their final ban. We already have the Gyrocopter, which we expect to be safe lane. Phoenix expect to be off lane. Templar Assassin mid. And we've got the defensive support of the Oracle, so looking for a more aggressive support. I know Void Boys, they like to favor the Witch Doctor, so maybe they're going to remove that from here. But I definitely think it wouldn't be a too bad pick for Archon. But they might want to remove the Nyx Assassin, considering they've picked up their Medusa. We don't typically see position 4 Nyx Assassins, really. And we actually saw a Nyx Assassin in the Complexity series, where they tried to use it in the off lane going up against Medusa, and it just did not work for them whatsoever. Void Boys, yeah, they will ban out the Nyx Assassin, so still not going to risk it there. And Archon will pick up the Beastmaster, so it's going to be a support Phoenix.
Radiant team pick.
And it's not going to be an off lane Beastmaster, or it's not going to be an off lane Phoenix. It's going to be an off lane Beastmaster instead, and that actually would have opened up the possibility for them to run the Nyx off lane. Which, I mean, it would have been okay. It's very easy for that Nyx Assassin to get caught out if he tries to open up in the early game by just a Zeus Bolt. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I still would have liked the Nyx there, but either way, I got banned out. I do like the Beastmaster, though. It gives them some good lockdown, which is something that their team's lacking. Especially if you're going to run the Phoenix as support. You need some more lockdown. Your Templar Assassin isn't going to give you... Your Oracle... I mean, he kind of gives you some lockdown, but it's not really a stun. It's just a snare. Phoenix, I mean, there's a little bit of disable in terms of your attack slow, but still nothing to really lock down a hero. And Gyrocopter, when it's primarily played in the safe lane, you don't really see the maxing of the homing missile, so you don't have that lockdown there. And Void Boys are going to go with the Brewmaster, which is something that they picked in Game 1 against Archon, the game that they won. They ran it safe lane in that game, so... We might see that here, and indeed we're seeing Pat Soul picked up. So it might be a Brewmaster safe lane and Medusa mid, with the Faceless Void in the off lane, and then the support duo of the Zeus and Vengeful Spirit. So that should be interesting. Just waiting on the final player to select their hero, and we should be set to go. I want to remind you guys that these are not best of threes. This is just one game series. That's it, and then we move on to the next one. We're only gonna have 3 games tonight. Starting, of course, Void Boys versus Archon, and then we're going to have Void Boys play against Power Friendship, and then Archon will play against Power Friendship. And by the end of that, we hope to have a difference between these 3 teams, and we can figure out which of the 2 will advance to the playoffs, which will be starting shortly following this as well. So that we look forward to that. And it's a competitive game, so as soon as we get out of the draft, we have a pause. Well, this isn't anything new. Also, I want to say shout out to Shoulders of Giants in the chat. As another one of Ali's viewers. Ali, why aren't you a mod in my chat? What's going on here? Fixed. But yeah, guys, I want to remind you that there is, I'm not the official channel for Dota 2 Canada Cup. There is an official channel, and I believe it is Moonduck on their main channel that's casting the game. I think it's Mott and Purge tonight. So yeah, you guys can go and check that out if you care to as well. I mainly just cast the Dota 2 Canada Cup to try and get as much practice as I can. It was largely the same reason I was casting all the stuff for the Shanghai Major qualifiers, Just want to get as many games under my belt as I can. And I definitely notice a huge difference between the start and the end. It may only seem like slight differences to a listener or a viewer, but for me, I feel like I really worked on a lot of things and improved a lot of things. So looking to further that by casting a bunch of these games and not really too concerned or too worried about viewer counts or anything like that. But we will continue to cast all of it. We casted every single game of Season 5, and so far we've casted every single game of Season 6. And looking to not break that streak. 747 has joined up here, so we should be good to go. And there we go. The G's and the R's come out as we get on pause and we get ready to start this game between Void Boys and Team Archon. And no better way to do it than to introduce the teams and the players. Is on the Radiant side, we're going to have the Void Boys. We got Fly playing the Vengeful Spirit. We got a Mega Poner on the Zeus. Schwann's going to be playing the Faceless Void. 747 on the Medusa. And Pat Soul is going to be playing the Brewmaster. As for our Dire side, it's going to be Team Archon. We've got Moo playing the Beastmaster. Jo is going to be playing the Gyrocopter. Pandego, the stand-in, is going to be playing the Oracle. Monkeys Forever on the Templar Assassin. And Whitebeard's going to be playing the Phoenix. Both teams just starting with your typical items. No Observer Wards out on Void Boys, but we're going to have a confrontation before the horn even sounds as Fly is getting a ton of damage dealt to him, but they're going to switch to Moo as Archon Moo is in trouble. He's going to try to juke through the trees, and it looks like he's going to be our first blood. Indeed he is. But down below, we've got 747 in trouble as well, as he's going to go down, so it gets evened up. 1 kill apiece, and now Fly and Pat Soul, they're trying to run for their life as Fly. He was in trouble to start things off. He got a little bit away, but now he's in trouble again, but it's Whitebeard that's going to go down first, as Jo now is on low HP as he's trying to run. He's got Pandego right beside him trying to help him out. And I believe that's going to be it, unless they're able to turn and go on Monkeys Forever here, but he's got a refraction up, so he should be fine. We're going to have Jo try and deny himself to Roche, but Roche is actually going to switch and go to Pat Soul as Pat Soul switched that off. And well played there by Pat Soul as he's actually going to get a kill. As playing with Roche's aggro there. And Pandego will just barely beat Schwann to the top rune as he's going to get the bounty rune. It was actually the Brewmaster that got the other bounty runes. So we see neither of our two mid laners getting the first bounty runes. So they should be even as they get to lane here. Only with a little teeny bit of XP that they got from the kills that they were involved in that confrontation in the Radiant jungle. But we start off with a 3-1 lead for Void Boys. As that one's not going to count as Fly denied himself to some neutrals there. As for our lanes, we're going to have Pandego on the Oracle and the Gyrocopter in the top lane going up against the Faceless Void. Mid lane's going to be the Medusa going up against the Templar Assassin, and the bottom lane, that leaves the Phoenix and the Beastmaster going up against the Brewmaster, the Zeus, and the Vengeful Spirit. So far, of course, you see 3 heroes down here in the bottom. They're actually going to open up onto Moo, as Whitebeard's going to do his best to try and slow them down and just attack as much as they can, but Pat Soul is just too damn fast. With those boots, he's just able to keep chase onto that Beastmaster and get the kill there. So Void Boy's off to a fantastic start here. 4 kills already. As Archon, they're fresh off that win and invite into the Shanghai Major, but they're going to have to battle themselves back into this game, as this is not the dream start that they were hoping for. It was definitely the dream start that Void Boys were hoping for. The stun's going to come out from Pandego, but Schwann's just going to be able to jump away and rewind some of the damage. As for our early last hits in lane, looks like Monkeys Forever's doing a pretty damn good job as he's sitting at 8-4. 747's only sitting at 7-1, so slight advantage going the way of the Templar Assassin. We've got the Gyrocopter who sitting pretty at 9-8 CS right now. Expect him to be free farming in the top lane. And if we actually counter his role and look at the bottom lane, we've only got the Panda sitting at 6-3, but of course he's 3-0-1 right now, so last hits aren't the entire story there. It looks like Fly is gonna camp the bottom rune, which is a haste. as he looks forward to picking it up and looking for a gank here. So he's going to run down to the bottom as maybe they're going to try to go on Moo once again. This would be very deep diving through the tower if they go for it, but they don't. They throw out the arcane missile, or magic missile, and then back away. Monkeys Forever just has the courier parked in the mid lane because he's going to be doing some bottle crowing. Or bottle catting. It looks really weird, but it is a cat. So far, Schwan hasn't managed to get any last hits up here in the top lane, but he is doing alright for XP. They've been putting a lot of pressure on him. He's about to hit level 3. And of course, expect the Brewmaster to be slightly ahead in terms of XP, and indeed he is, and part of that's because he's got a Phoenix there babysitting him. So although they are splitting the XP, they're still able to get more because they're able to play more aggressively in the lane and push themselves out a little bit further, where Schwan has to be a little bit more careful. Even though he's got that time walk, he's able to jump away. As I actually missed a kill on the bottom, as once again they engage on the bottom. This time it's on the Phoenix though. As Icarus Dive is up and off cooldown. Apparently not able to get that off. Maybe he was exchanging hits, got a little bit low, and then got caught out by a magic missile. His Monkeys Forever taking a little bit of a beating, but on that respawn, Whitebeard's going to Icarus Dive back in. A little bit late to cancel it, as he ends up on the high ground, not able to be in front of 747. And getting some blocking to allow Monkeys Forever to come up and get a nice refraction attack off. Once again, Moo potentially in trouble in the bottom, but he's able to get back to the tower. Even as Boar is able to get back on 4 HP. But never mind. The eventual Spirit gets it with their W. So Jayo's starting to distance himself as he's sitting at 28 and 12 in terms of CS. Then we've got Monkeys Forever in second at 20 and 8. Then it's down in the bottom with Pat Soul at 14 and 4, and he's tied with 747, who's also at 14 and 3. And Moo's actually doing quite well for himself, as he's at 11 and 3. So yeah, he's taken 2 deaths, but in terms of last hits, he's doing pretty good. So he should be in a pretty good spot in terms of gold. He just needs to get those levels so he can get that Primal Roar, and then he can start moving around the map and start doing a little bit of ganking. And we expect Archon's roster to be quite mobile once they start all hitting level 6. We typically see a Gyrocopter. Once he hits 6 or soon thereafter, he starts to join up with his team and get involved in some of the kills and start using that call down to help them press towers. We of course see the same thing with Templar Assassin, a really snowball based hero that likes to get a good start, and we're seeing Monkeys Forever with a decent start here, but wants to be able to get a couple very crucial kills early on, and then he just snowballs out of control from there. As Fly once again will engage, but they need to really catch Moo out a little bit further than that if they expect to get a kill there, and I don't think they were really hoping to get a kill there. They were just maybe just keeping Moo honest, stunning him up there, making sure he doesn't creep up near XP range. And Pandago is camping the bottom rune, but he's a little bit too far away as Fly just comes running on in and snatches it from him. It was just a bounty rune, but that's slight advantage going the way of Void Boys as they continue to lead 5-1. But Pandago and Jayo, this is what he's talking about. That Gyrocopter hit 6, grouped up with the team, smoke up, and go for a gank, and they're going to come right down here into the bottom lane. They don't have level 6 on Moo yet. He's only 3, about to hit level 4, but they are still going to get an opening. This one's on the Zeus. They would have preferred it to be on the Brewmaster, but it kills a kill, so they'll take that. Didn't even have to use the call down there. But now they'll make a rotation towards mid, and they might actually run into 747, who's attacking this camp because he wants to continue to get gold without making himself vulnerable in the lane. But look at this, they're just going to open on him anyways. Call down, the initial hit is just barely going to hit, but they needed it to be a little bit more aggressively placed there by Jayo. But now all the TPs are coming in as Monkeys Forever has popped his haste to try and engage there, but now he's just going to have to back away, but he's going to camp up on the high ground. He does have a trap placed, but they're just going to run back down as a Mega Poner is going to lose about half of his HP from one Meld Strike. But we won't see any further blood spilled. Some pinks coming out in the bottom as Archon is still in position in the Void Boys jungle. courier is actually going to fly over them, so they have been spotted out. But Jaos, he's going to get 2 attacks in, but not 3. Instead, he's just going to go for the stack, and he's going to clean it up. More gold go in the way of the boys of Archon. Let's take a quick look at Pat Soul, see how he's doing. He's just picked up a Midas. So he's gone for that, and he's probably going to go for his Blink Dagger after that. There's Moo, he's level 5.5, so Primal Roar is coming along. It looks like he's going to go for Treads as his first item. Or he might just build straight into the Necro Book, which is what we saw. Brown Boots and Necro Book was a pretty common build in the qualifiers. As for our Megaponer, he's about to hit level 5. We have Fly, just barely hit level 4. But both of them just have their typical support items. 747 actually hasn't picked up a Stone Gaze yet. He's only level 7 though, as sometimes Deuces forego that. Xuan, he has hit level 6. In fact, he's about to hit level 7, so he's got his Chronosphere available. But he's been pretty quiet. He's just kind of staying up in the top lane. Might even see him pick up an Iron Talon. In fact, he has. I missed that when I was checking. But you might see him kind of rotate out of the top lane, do a little bit of jungling, and they might throw their Zeus up there in the top lane to get a little bit more XP on him. As Zeus is a very XP-dependent hero. Monkeys Forever, he's got his Treads as well as his bottle, sitting at 400 gold. Pandago, just the brown boots. Whitebeard, Tranquil's completed. Jo, we saw the phase boots, and looks like he's going to be completing his Aquila once he can get his items delivered with the courier. We already covered Moo, but we have to note that he has hit level 6, so Primal Roar is online.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And he will pick up a TP now, although he won't really have enough mana to TP and Primal Roar. Well, with 7 magic wand charges, he can. But we got action in the top lane as that Chrono has been used by Xuan, but it's more defensive as he's going to try to back away. But here comes the Brewmaster as he's split, and he's going to get the kill on the Gyrocopter. The tier 1 tower is going to go down as Whitebeard gets the last attack in there before Icarus diving away, but Pandago is going to get caught as the Fire Spirits are going to get thrown in to slow down the attack rates, but I don't think Pandago is going to be able to get out of there. He's completely cornered himself in some trees. As Xuan's going to get the kill there, and then Healing Salve himself back up. The Megaponer's having to hide below the tier 1 tower in the trees as it's just him and Moo down here, and he's pretty scared of the Brewmaster, of the Beastmaster at this point in the game. But he will zap the creeps and keep them off the tower, as well as getting rid of that bird. The bottom tier 1 will take a good amount of damage, but we got the Gyro respawning and the Oracle respawning. They've just come down here, and they're going to wipe out the next creep wave as they want to begin to, or continue to keep pressure on this tier 1 tower, as the Zeus has TP'd back up to the top lane, so he's abandoning it, as it looks like Void Boys are going to be going for a trade here, as they want to go for the tier 1 tower, but Archon should be able to get this tower down fairly quickly, and with their TP still on cooldown, they won't really be able to jump up to the top lane to defend it, but it doesn't look like Void Boys are going to be able to get the push on that they were hoping for. Instead, they'll be able to steal a triple stack. In fact, it's actually a quad stack, as 747 with that split shot is going to get a good amount of damage from this. Still hasn't picked up Stone Gaze. He's gone 4-4-1 with his skill build. As looks like Archon, and they were staying in the bottom, but now they're starting to make a rotation towards mid. As they're going to potentially go for this tier 1.
Radiant's bottom tower
Vengeful Spirit is the one closest nearby, as it's Fly, but he's hanging up by the Ancients, not really moving up too closely. He knows that move's going to be around here somewhere, as he's not showing in the bottom lane. It's just Pandago pushing. And yeah, Fly will pull the creep wave back.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
But looks like we actually won't have any towers going down here, as Void Boys have completely backed off the top tier 1, but they do have the Chronosphere back up, so maybe they're going to look to rotate the Void towards mid and get another great Chrono. As last one ended up in them getting a kill on the Gyrocopter. Xuan, yeah, he's going to have an engage if he goes right there. He's got a good leap in, but nope, they're not going to go for it. The tier 1 tower will go down as Monkeys Forever is going to get the last hit on the Templar Assassin. As he jumps up 2,800 gold, he'll buy his Mithril Hammer as he makes some progress towards his Desolator. And with that, we'll actually switch over to the net worth and take a look at where everyone stands. It is Monkeys Forever in first at 6,100 net worth. We've got Moo. He is only at 3,600, but he's done all right for himself. The other farmer, or other core on Archon, is Jo. So he's at 4,300. Opposing safe laner, Pat Soul, he's at 4,900, and actually 5,600, excuse me. As it's 747 at 4,900 as he goes down there. I missed the kill there. I was a little distracted looking at the net worth. As here we go. Schwann's going to leap in with the Chronosphere, and the focus target's going to be Moo, as they will be able to bring down one more attack. There we go. They will be able to bring down the Brewmaster and then follow up with a kill on the Templar Assassins. That was a little bit of a disaster of engage for Archon. They do get the kill on what they came for, but unfortunately they weren't able to get out with those two heroes. And it's one core for two, and that's not the kind of trade that they were hoping for. As Fly taking a lot of damage from that Sunray from Whitebeard. As he's picked up his Gloves of Haste, so it looks like he's going to be going for Midas as his next.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
We've got Jaya with his face, as well as his Morbid Mask, and now he's picked up a Belt of Strength, so he's probably going to be going for his S and Y. It's a very typical build that we see. You want to pick up your Belt of Strength early to give you that little bit of boost of HP, as it's an adaptation as people kind of transitioned out of going for treads into going for phase boots, as you need that HP. And we're going to have great engagement here as Jo is going to hop out of the trees with a call down. It's going to get the kill on the Vengeful Spirit, and it's also going to save Whitebeard in the process. As Moo and Monkeys Forever, they're going to go into Roche Pit here, and they certainly have the damage to do it. With Moo, the double bores are obviously going to be slowing down, but there's the ticket. That's what they needed. The Desolator flying in will deliver that to Monkeys Forever, and that's going to give them a lot of minus armor, allowing them to tear through Roche. And we have no one on Void Boys anywhere near Roche Pit, so this should be a free Roche for them, as it's going to be an Aegis for Monkeys Forever once he ups his GG branch, and there he goes.
Forever.
He couldn't have planted a happy little tree for us. Maybe you can't do that in the Roche Pit. Actually, I've never tried that. The Tier 1 tower also went down.
Under attack.
As Flies actually...
Dire's structures are
he stunned the Ancients there. That's a little bit unusual there, but he stunned the Ancients to pull them back, and didn't actually even stack it. It's a little mistake there from Fly.
Top tower is under attack.
Got the Medusa up to 2,400 gold. His Oracle will now just pick up the urn. As Fly's getting close to finishing his urn. We've got the Zeus that's gone for Arcanes, and the Soul Ring, and now the Void has finished the Vlads. Is once again a really typical item that we're seeing with these offlane Voids. Go for kind of the Treads, Iron Talons, that you can hop into the jungle, get a little bit of farm. Then you pick up a Vlad's, which gives you a nice aura. It also helps you fight, but also helps you in the jungle in terms of your jungle speed. And even gives you that little bit of mana regen that Void needs. And then from there you build into your Blink Dagger, which gives you the range that you need. So I'm still proud of myself for in my initial patch analysis. As I predicted that Voids were going to have to start picking up Blink Dagger, and we're seeing that all the pros are taking the same kind of view of the hero. Moo's picked up level 1 Necrobook, so he's got that going for him. As this game's been a little bit slow, apart from that first engagement that we had right at the start of the game in the middle of Void Boys Jungle. We had 4 kills before the game even really started. But since then, it's been a little quiet. We've seen a lot of rotations moving around, but mainly just towers falling. Haven't seen too many kills. And the few kills that we have seen are because one team went for something and they were just a little sloppy in the process and got picked off. Well, we'll still jump to our net worth, and we can see Archon has pulled ahead a little bit. About 3,000 gold lead for them. As for the XP, it's just hovering around 0, but is slightly in favor of Archon by about 500. They're going to look to change that here with the Smoke Ink, but it's just Pat Soul and Fly that have smoked up. And as Pat Soul has picked up his Blink Dagger, so they're going to look for that for their initiation. But I'm going to push up past the tower. Closest target is Pandago on the Oracle. So they're going to find him here. Or actually, they might find an even better target as Jayo's nearby. as they're going to jump on Jo, give him the clap, and then follow it up with a split. Magic Missile is going to fly in and stun Jo up, as Pandago's already ulted him. And they're going to toss the Oracle up in the skies. They're going to stun up the Gyrocopter, but now with the Templar Assassin here, they realize they're going to have to back. But here comes Schwann. He's going to leap in and get a nice 3-man chrono. The focus target's going to be the Oracle as he's dead. Now they're going to go after the Gyrocopter. Omega Poner, unfortunately, is going to be a casualty as he ends up right next to the Templar Assassin. They do get the kill on that Gyro, but now their Fly is in trouble on the high ground here as Whitebeard is there. He will swap him to try and delay a little bit of the damage, but the Vengeful Spirit will still go down. It looks like the Phoenix has gotten away safely, but now it's just the Templar Assassin struggling. Still has Aegis, but they don't have any detection, so they have to back as Monkeys Forever just drops into that meld and just sits there. The closest they have to detection is the Chronosphere, but we know it's still on cooldown for quite a while after it was just used in that fight. But again, although we only see one hero go down on the side of Archon and we see 2 go down on Void Boys, it is Void Boys just losing their 2 supports, whereas they got a kill on the safe lane farming Gyrocopter, so you have to say that even though it was a 2-for-1, I still think it's advantaged in favor of Void Boys because that Gyrocopter is a much more valuable kill early on, and I didn't exactly get to note the gold that each of those supports had before they went down. Is looks like the urn was recently purchased by Fly, so it didn't look like he probably lost too much gold, and Omega Poner has also completed his Aether Lens, so he probably didn't lose too much gold either. So it's probably even better because the gold that they would have had would have been reliable gold, so the 2 supports not really losing too much on Void Boys, whereas the Gyrocopter would have had a little bit more gold on his hero, but he has finished his Sange as well as upgrading his helm, or upgrading his Morbid Mask to a Helm of the Dominator. And now it's going to be a smoke from Archon as they're going to charge right past the mid creeps. And then they reveal themselves as they get close to Omega Poner, but they're going to jump up on the high ground as the focus target's going to be 747. He pops the Stone Gaze, but it's not going to be enough as the call down comes down, and it's actually Whitebeard on the Phoenix with the last attack to finish him off. And that's going to give Moo not enough gold just to complete Necro 2, but Necro 3. So that's going to give Archon a huge boost in their ability to push towers. And of course, they still have that Desolator on Monkeys Forever, so the minus armor is going to be great for them. And we're seeing him blink forward there, getting a little bit of damage in on Fly. In fact, it's more than a little bit of damage. His Fly, that was the majority of his damage.
Middle tower is under attack.
And there we go, we got the Blink Dagger picked up by Schwann, but the tier 2 tower will go down. Will Void Boys look to catch Archon as they back here? In fact, they're not even going to back. They're just going to go for the tier 3. 20 minutes in, they're going to go for it. It's Pat Soul going to jump in, give the clap to Moo. And he's going to split, and the focus target is going to be Moo. It's a nice chrono. It's a little bit of a zoning chrono. You would have preferred to catch more targets in that, but they do get the kill on that Brewmaster. And now the Phoenix is just going to get focused down while he's in his egg. As he's going to go down, the Gyro's going to go down as well. As Pandago is raising his arms, but didn't get the cast off there. And now Pandago will walk into the trees. He'll try to TP out, but he'll get swapped, and by doing so, he even blocked Monkeys Forever's path. So Monkeys Forever actually just had to drop into meld. But once again, he'll actually blink just slightly a little bit over and blinking and TPing out, but that's blinking to a spot where they're not going to be able to have vision. So it made it safer for him to TP, but we're seeing a huge swing for Void Boys as they get 4 kills in that fight. As I was expecting Archon to back, they didn't back, they stuck around, and Void Boys punished them for it. As although it wasn't the best Chronosphere in terms of number of targets hit, it was very well placed. They got Moo, which was the important one, and zoned the other heroes. But now Moo, he's mad. He just comes back down the lane and he just yells at 747, and the Medusa shudders in fear as she just stands there, and that's a kill for Archon.
Time is money.
They do lose their mid-tier 1 tower, though. They do get a nice boost of gold from killing that Medusa, but let's take a look at the gold graph, and it was trending in favor of Archon, and then all of a sudden we saw that last fight kind of bring it back up in favor of Void Boys. Well, more so in favor of Void Boys, but it's still in favor of Archon. But looking like it's around 2,000 gold lead for Archon, but we still have to wait for that gold graph to update. We'll take a look at that in just a second. As we got the Necrobook 3 up. Besides that, looks like an Aether Lens is probably going to be coming out for Pandago shortly. Could be a Glimmer Cape. He just has the cloak, but he also has Arcane, so we expect him to maybe split that and pick up the Aether Lens. Also got the mech completed by Whitebeard. S and Y now is going to get completed by Jo. And what else? I think there was something else that got picked up. And we got a Mystic Staff getting picked up by Pat Soul. So probably going to go after Shiva's Guard as his next item. Of course, the aura from that will apply while he uses the Brewmaster split. So we sometimes see Brewmasters also pick up Vlads and stuff like that. Although we won't really see that this game because the Void already has his Vlads. Or the Vlads for the team. We do have a Lincoln's that's been picked up by 747, so already starting to get quite tanky. Probably going to go Yasha and then Scotty on the Medusa here. As the Medusa is definitely lacking in terms of damage right now, so a Yasha would be a great item pickup for her. I guess for him. Got our 2,000 gold up on Schwann as well. As he's going to jump back so he can meet up with some of his other teammates as they're going to go for a 4-man smoke. So you're going to move towards the bottom. As there is the TA actually pushing the bottom lane as they're going to go for a wraparound. But Monkeys Forever is going to jump into the trees and TP out. They pretty much don't have a chance of catching anyone here, but a little bit of a wasted smoke for them, as Archon's quite grouped up as well, so they must have read into the fact that there was going to be a smoke gank coming out here. As they're playing a little bit safer. There's that Shiva's Guard getting completed by Pat Soul. Ghost Scepter on the Zeus. And we've got a Staff of Wizardry picked up by Fly, so I'm guessing that's probably going to be a 4-staff for the Venge. As that'll allow him to swap and then 4-staff himself back to safety, or also just use it to save a hero as well, whether he uses the swap or the 4-staff. Both are viable. Void Boy's going to go for a push here on the tier 1, but while that's going on, we've got Archon pushing the top tier 2, and then they've got another 2 heroes in the mid lane threatening the tier 3, and that's going to force back some TPs as Schwann TP'd back to the top, and a Megaponer TP'd to the mid lane. They do get that bottom tier 1, and now 747 will just be able to TP out right in front of JO's eyes as he had no way of interrupting it. As, he does have 1 point in a homing missile, but there's no way that was going to catch him in time. As Pat Soul's actually going to find Pandago, trying to roam into Void Boy's jungle, but he's greeted by the Vengeful Spirit and the Brewmaster as soon as he walks up the top of that ramp. As Void Boys will gladly collect that feat. Get 522 gold going their way. As, that's actually great for Void Boys in terms of getting position over Roche, as Roche has just recently respawned, and it's very important for them to be able to move up here on the high ground and get some of these wards gone. As actually Pat Soul's going to find a kill on a move there, and here we go. Schwann's going to jump on in with the Chronospheres. They're going to find Whitebeard as well, and they might just be able to back and take Roche here. They've got the minus armor from Venge, which would help accelerate their kill speed.
Radiant's middle
Fly's
tower
actually
is
going to
under
TP
attack.
back as they've got to defend mid because Monkeys Forever. He realized he could go for the tier 3 tower here, and he's going to find it. Now 747 is also going to TP back as Fly is going to get the swap. Stone Gate is going to get used. And they're going to get the kill on a Monkeys Forever there. Now Schwann, he'll leap forward, but won't be able to catch up to Jo. Void Boys still not going for Roche. They do know it's there. They actually just scouted with the Faceless Void. So maybe when they were making that play going up onto the high ground, they actually didn't know that Roche had respawned. He had respawned a little bit before Pandago died at this ramp. And now Archon, they've respawned a few of their heroes, and they're just missing the Templar Assassin, and Whitebeard actually flying on in with that Sunray. Jo and Mu coming in from the side, but they'll have to back. Either way, they have forced Void Boys away from the Roche pit. I don't think they'll go too far, though, because Archon can easily take Roche very, very quickly. We saw them burn through his HP the first time around. And with TA respawning in 10 seconds, they would be able to do it again. There's that Yash I was hinting at from 747. Schwann's actually picked up a point booster with his gold, so he's going to be working towards an Aghanim Scepter. He's got another 2,300 gold, so he's actually quite close to it. Another 650 gold, and he'll have that finished. Hat Soul's up to a 2,400. He's getting a lot of gold on this Brewmaster. Brewmaster, not the easiest hero to farm with, or not the fastest farming hero. His Monkeys Forever is going to find Schwann here. Schwann was making a play for the rune. He had to blink out, but now he's going to get a nice chrono. But it's going to be on 2 heroes, and it's actually Pat Soul who's going to get caught out, as he's going to have to get forced to split there, as he's going to try to go on to Moo or Monkeys Forever. Can't tell. In fact, they're splitting the damage, and they're going to get both kills. Now they're going to go after Jaos. They're going to toss the rock with the Brewmaster split and stun up that gyrocopter, and then they'll be able to chase him down. They will get the kill there. It's going to be a double kill for 747. And now they've even found the Oracle with the Brewmaster split. So they're going to use that tornado to toss him up in the air. And it's a triple kill for 747, as it's actually a full 5-man team wipe. The show fight recap is absolutely useless for us, as it is the majority of the time, but we do know that that was a huge swing in favor of Void Boys, and they're going to get Roche on top of that, so it's going to be another Aegis. Except this time it's going to go on to Void Boys, and who's going to pick it up? Okay, now we're going to give it to 747. Yes, he's actually going to complete the Manta, not go for the Scotty just yet. Thinks he's 747 at least thinks he's tanky enough with just the Lincolns, so he's going to go for that Manta recipe. A little surprised to see him actually buy the recipe. Okay, so he does already have the ultimate orb. That makes a little bit more sense. There's really no point purchasing a recipe before a component. Unless you're about to die and you can only afford the recipe and it's going to use some of your unreliable gold. That's the only reason to ever really purchase a recipe before the actual item. Unless it's a Midas. Midas is another special case, because when you're a safe lane farmer, you purchase the Midas recipe, you want it to be basically flying across the map while you're getting the gold for your Gloves of Haste. But that Midas will get delivered, so 747 is going to have that. And we did have the 4 staff completed by Fly. Aghanim Scepter also finished by Schwann. And Omega Poner hasn't added anything on just yet, but he's picked up a Staff of Wizardry. So there's a lot of items that could be. It could just be another 4 staff for them. He could choose to build into a Yule Scepter. I'm not really sure if it's entirely necessary this game for them to get a Yule Scepter. Could even be an Aghanims, although you would typically see a point booster pick up there instead of the Staff of Wizardry. But there we go. He actually is going to pick up the 4 staff. So 2 4 staffs on the side of Void Boys. We also got an Aghanim Scepter purchased by Patsol with that gold. The tier 2 tower is going to go down there. Is Archon not really contesting that because they've got heroes up here in the top lane. Is Monkeys Forever going for another one of these early moon shards. And this is kind of a new trend. This has actually been happening quite a bit in the Chinese scene. We haven't really seen it too much in the more western part of the world, whether it's Europe or the Americas. But it is a way of accelerating your farm. It's kind of like a Midas without actually being a Midas and not really turning into a dead item slot later on in the game. It's interesting. I'm not too sure exactly how much I like it. I have experimented with it a few games, and those few games were very one-sided in my favor. So I don't think that was entirely based on the item choice by me, but I think if whatever I went with, I probably would have still won those games, as they were. I don't know what Valve's matchmaking was thinking in some of those, but yeah. Either way, I kind of like it because it does allow you to farm very, very quickly, and it also allows you to still fight because, I mean, as long as you're on a hero that can somehow cover the defensive capabilities or defensive aspects of your heroes, then you should be fine. As Monkeys Forever can rely on refraction to be a large source of his defense. And then he can even drop into meld and kind of hop in and out of the fights.
My wings are broken.
I made a play for that rune. And oh, Xuan gets there, but just gets there a little bit too late. Throws down the chrono. It just doesn't catch on that TP. This has created a little bit of space for 747 and Pat Sol to push in the top lane. They're going to get a free tier 2.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
This move will now add on a Vlad's. So he's got that going for him. And Xuan's going to start to build up his right click as he's going to pick up a Maelstrom. Also give them some good wave clears. They're kind of lacking on wave clear. Brewmaster, he can do it, but he's not the best at doing it. And then, of course, Deuce is great at it. Of course, turn on split shot, and that's easy peasy. The creep wave goes down. But beyond that, they don't really have anyone else who's really good at wave clear. Both their supports really suck at it. So it's good that they add on something like a Maelstrom, and certainly something that's actually going to help Xuan in the team fights. It's going to allow him to get more auto attacks off, which means more time lock procs, which also means more damage when he actually has his Chronosphere up. If you guys don't know that, the time locks, the bashes from Void actually do double damage when they're inside his Chronosphere. There's a Panda who actually just bought a gem, so he's going to bring that in and deliver. He's actually going to drop his urn on the ground, as he doesn't have space to carry that. He's also got 4 Observer Wards. So Archon kind of saving up some of their Observer Wards.
Haste!
As they already have 2 on the map as well, so there was definitely a lapse there in some of their ward coverage. You also have 2 Observer Wards out on the map for Void Boys. Jail's got his BKB, and he's going to use a call down here to push the bottom lane. His Void Boys are actually going to go for a 4-man smoke. Once again, smoking without the Medusa, as she's off farming. Now they're going to move towards the top lane. They were actually initially going towards the bottom, but with they would have seen that call down coming out from the gyro, so they would have known that he was going to back on the with that coming out as Thunder God's Wrath getting it used there, as they knew that someone was close by because they popped Xuan's smoke, but it was actually the TPing out Beastmaster. There's another hero. We'll TP out here, so it's the Templar Assassin. But Archon doing a good job of reading these smoke ganks coming out from Void Boys and doing a good job of avoiding them. Pat Sol also has boots of travel now. What about 747? He's got a Scotty. He's actually going to TP down to the bottom lane where he needs to be a little bit careful. Only the gyro is showing right now, but there are other heroes nearby, as it's going to be the support duo of Archon. Unfortunately, it is going to be a pause from Void Boys. They just need a second here to do whatever. But I'll bring up the items on the screen so we can see exactly what we got. Looks like Fly's got treads, as those will be flying on in with the next courier delivery, I guess, as they say G, so we should be good to go soon. There we go. Beyond that, we've covered pretty much everything on the Radiant side of things. As for the Dire side of things, we noted the gem pickup by Pandago. We didn't really point out the blink from Whitebeard. The 10-second BKB on Jo. Monkeys Forever's got to be getting close to an item, so we'll check on his gold here. Whitebeard just doing some harassing. Yeah, Monkeys Forever sitting at 4,000 gold. Well, Pandago and Moo are going to engage here onto 747. We're actually going to have the Supernova coming out from Whitebeard. As 747's in trouble. The explosion on the Supernova will be enough there. And Moo now getting focused down by the Brewmaster split, but we'll be able to jump away. But Xuan is there to meet him with the Chronospheres. They will get a return kill, but it's just on a Beastmaster. It did cost them their Medusa, and they're going to get a little bit more gold as they get the Necrobook minion down
tower
there.
is under attack.
But still, it's more so about the lost farm potential on the Medusa, more so than the gold that Archon's going to gain from it. interested to see what Monkeys Forever is going to add on as his next item. Yeah, plenty of offensive, so I'm thinking more of a defensive item, and I'm not really sure. I guess it could be something like an AC. That would give him ridiculous attack speed.
The mysteries renew.
Could just go with the BKB. I think that wouldn't be too bad, although it's not really going to help him against the Chronosphere. And he's going to add on another offensive item. It's going to be the MKB, and we don't have any kind of evasion coming out from the Radiant side, except they do have the Brewmaster. So you got to keep in mind Drunken Haze. Going to give you that 75% miss chance, and if you're constantly getting that thrown on you, MKB is certainly going to help with that, but at the same time, BKB would have also helped, but you don't really want to have to pop a BKB charge just to do some damage. You want to use it more defensively and keep you alive. There we go. We're going to have an Eagle Song and a Quarterstaff already picked up by Jo, so he's going to have a Butterfly soon. Plate Mail picked up by Moose, so maybe he's going to be the one going for AC. I think it makes a little bit more sense as well. I still would have probably I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that MKB pickup. It depends. Like, Monkeys Forever is getting good farm, so it's not like his BKB is going to be far away as well. So he'll be able to get that soon, and he might not even need it because he might get an Aegis here. Unless they're going to give it to Jo, but they have been spotted by a Thunder God's Wrath. Things are coming out. But I think Archon might just keep focusing it. Is where the heck is Roche going? Get the hell back in the Roche pit. As Roche is going to go down, and we're going to have the Aegis snatched by Jo because it was actually Void Boys that got the last hit on Roche there with the Brewmaster, as Moo is actually going to get frozen in place by the Stone Gaze. But everyone else on the side of Archon looks like they will have gotten away. Jo the closest, but we don't have range for a swap there. As Void Boys will look to push the bottom lane. Despite the fact that Archon has that Aegis up on the Gyro. With the Beastmaster down, they may feel like they've got an advantage here, and they feel like they can get a free tier 2 tower, as some of those heroes were on less than full
Dire's
HP.
bottom tower has fallen.
Tier 2 down. They're actually going to keep going. They're going to go for a tier 3 here. And they're just going to charge up onto the high ground. This is very ballsy. Very, very ballsy. As Monkeys Forever is going to jump in, start doing some damage to 747. Notice 747 has added on a Talisman of Evasion, but that's not going to work against the Templar Assassin because of that MKB pickup. A little bit surprised that 747 is actually going after that Butterfly, given that the TA has already been showing the MKB for quite some time. And on top of that, you've got a Gyrocopter on Archon, which also... Gyros tend to go for MKBs as well. We'll give 747 some good strong attack speed though, as well as damage. Now we'll have an AC completed by Patsoul. So Void Boys have their AC. What is the progress looking like for Moo? He's up to 1,000 gold right now. Don't think he's got anything on the courier now, so he's still quite a ways out from completing his. As he's not very high up in terms of the net worth, as he's had a little bit of a rough game. He's actually at 1-8-5 right now. Whereas Patsoul, he's sitting at 8-0-13. He's doing a really good job this game, as Void Boys have actually put on a pretty good game so far. They're ahead 26-10 right now, 41 minutes in. They're looking to get a little bit of revenge on Archon, as well. When they met in the qualifiers, they ended up 1-1. But last time they played in the Dota 2 Canada Cup, Archon got the better of them. And of course, both these teams are fresh off playing in those qualifiers, where Archon did advance to the Shanghai Major. Whereas Void Boys, they unfortunately didn't. They'll have to make a go at it for the next major. Juan's just hunting here. He's picked up a Shadow Blade. So he's got that invis, so he can hunt for some heroes, and then he's always got the Blink Dagger to get even further in range. Even get closer? Closer, yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Another Thunder God's Wrath will come out. As Void Boy's constantly keeping tabs on where these heroes are from Archon. He's got a Sheep Stick actually picked up by Whitebeard. He's actually got a lot of gold for support. He's sitting at 14k net worth. And there we go. Monkeys Forever will pick up his BKB. So he'll have that for the next fight, as we still haven't really seen a full 5v5 team fight in quite some time in this game. Both teams kind of avoiding each other and just kind of sitting back and farming. So I like the fact that we got 36 kills in 43 minutes, which doesn't really lead to being the most passive game. We have actually seen this be pretty passive recently. Megaponers picked up an Octarine. It's kind of evidence with the amount of items coming out for everyone as well. And yeah, that actually must have been just a mistake. Is notice 747 sold that evasion that he had, and now he's gone for an MKB. Now he might get caught out here, as he's going to walk right into Archon, but a great counter engage from Schwann, as he's going to get a Chronosphere on 3, and all 3 of those heroes are going to be dead. On top of that, we've got one of them respawning with the Aegis, but he's got no one left. His Monkeys will try to get away, but one more attack, it will be there, as it's the Bolt of Lightning from the Zeus that will get the kill. That's another great fight for Void Boys, as they get a full 5-man team wipe. Gens up in about 5,700 gold swing going their way. We'll quickly take a look at our gold graph, and we can see it going way up, as they were already around 10,000 gold ahead. But with that last fight, it's going to be more like 17k, maybe even 20k. XP doesn't really matter so much at 44 minutes in, but it's over the 20k mark as well. And Void Boys, looks like they're going to get a set of racks here. There's only one buyback available for Archon, and that's Jo, as he just ticked up to having enough gold. But certainly a gyrocopter buying back here isn't going to be enough to help them hold. Mid melee and range racks are down, and now they're going for the bottom tier 3.
Dire's bottom tower has
and they should be able to easily get the set of racks and back away. Once again, still hunting, as he gets detected by the Ancient there. He won't be able to get the kill on the Pandago. No bash procs for him. And now he's just going to get sheeped up, as don't throw here, Schwann. As he'll be able to leap away, but Fly was the one who helped him, as he swapped, and now Fly might be in trouble. He's actually missed a move going down there, but Pat Soul now is godlike, as he gets the kill on the Oracle, and then Schwann, once again, low HP, but it's not going to matter, as he's now got the Chronosphere up, as he's going to use it on a Jo, and GG, as Archon taps out of this one, as Void Boy is looking very strong in this game.
Dire's top tower, Radiant.
They're ahead right now. 1 win for them in the group, and Archon, they're going to have to look to do something better in their final game of the night, but we do have Void Boys versus the Power of Friendship coming up next. The Archon versus Power of Friendship match will have to wait until after that one's completed. But the Void Boy, the next match, Void Boys versus Power of Friendship, that will be starting at, well, it should be started now, I think. 8:45 is, I believe, the start time for that. So as soon as these Void Boys players hop out of this lobby, they'll get into the next, and we should have that next game up real soon. But once again, guys, that was Niz. Hopefully you're enjoying the cast. And I know some people were saying that the Canada Cup stream was having a little bit of issues, as it was constantly crashing and going down. And if you hopped over to this stream as a result of that, first of all, welcome. But yeah, I'll be continuing casting all the Group C tiebreaker matches tonight. But obviously, if that other stream's up, feel free to hop back onto it and give those guys some love. as they are the official channel for the Dota 2 Canada Cup, and I'm a big supporter of the Dota 2 Canada Cup, so if that's the best way to support them, go for it. But if you want to stay, then you're more than welcome to. That's fine with me as well. But we will throw it to a break as we need the next lobby to be hosted. And once that's up, we'll be set to cast. It's going to be Void Boys versus the Power of Friendship coming up next.